Welcome back, everyone. You heard about the Western Conference on the last episode. We're now here to talk about the East. A lot of changes happening in this conference, so this might be a bit of an interesting conversation. As per usual, I'm going to say now we've got Darby back on deck as the second expert on this show. Um, and I know he's been quite keen to talk about the East, especially with all the, like I mentioned, with all the changes happening. So I guess we're gonna follow the same path that we did for the Western Conference. So let's talk a bit about what we saw last year through the playoffs. Incredible run by Indiana. I think they were the fans' team heading into every series. I think the way they played, the joy that they played with having Hallie there as, I guess their leader. Um, it was an incredible run that just fell short. So, what were your thoughts on last year's Eastern Conference playoffs?
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said about Indiana. They keep pulling it out. They beat Cleveland. They thought Cleveland was gonna match up with Boston in the final, and then they beat New York, and they just keep going. So uh, I was definitely more invested on the East. I think it was more interesting. It
Yeah,
was definitely more. It was more. The West was kind of we all knew who was coming out.
yeah,
Um, but the East, yeah, I think everyone thought Boston was going to.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know anyone who would have picked Indiana to make the finals. So
No way. I think with Boston as well. So with Tatum getting injured, I think that was
mm,
the. I think Boston was still heavy favorites before that. Um,
mm,
but yeah, Indiana's run was epic. New York, they fell short again.
mm.
Bucks were nowhere to be sighted pretty much. Like they made it, but what were they doing there? Kind of.
Yeah, no
But
shot.
I think like what Indiana hit like 5 game winners or something. I think not even Indiana. I think Halliburton hit 5 game.
Yeah, he was on a historic run. He hit one in the finals too. So
It was yeah. I know,
yeah,
and the funniest thing for me out of all of that is there's all these clips of him just riding the bench during the Olympics. And he's like celebrating with. I mean, on a team like that, you don't have to do much, right? He's just on the bench, he's
yeah,
celebrating, blah blah blah. And then I think it was really special to see him get that opportunity to be like, "Hey, this is my basketball team. I'm gonna take them as far as I can go." Um, and playing with all those stars and getting that opportunity from himself to be that leader and to take Indiana all the way to the finals, I think that was a great run, especially at his age as well. Like that was an incredible run by him. It's probably one of the only teams that comes second that I'll probably remember for a long time. Um,
mm,
just from I guess all those storylines that we saw, all those game winners that we saw.
mm.
And I guess all those giants of the East that they knocked off on their way to the playoffs. So I guess that was the East in a nutshell last year. Yeah, the
Yeah, for
playoff.
sure.
Did you have anything to add to the playoffs or anything that you saw from the East last year?
Um, no, I was actually glad to see New York do pretty good. Yeah, they knocked off Boston, which was a pretty big.
Yeah.
No one ever gives them a hope against any decent team. They beat
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
beat up on the lower teams, and then it comes to the big boys, and they usually fall over. So, but no,
Yeah.
I think they did they get the first two games against Boston.
Yeah, I think
I think,
they did get the first 2 games,
yeah,
and then was
and
it?
Tatum was playing both of those.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
right.
not like they just Tatum got injury and then
No.
because they actually played a decent team. So
Yeah, they definitely had, or I think they'd already won that series before the Tatum injury anyway.
mm,
Because yeah, they'd already got the first 2 games.
mm,
And then they were up 3-1, I think, when Tatum got injured, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that series was already over. I mean, how many teams come back from being down 3-0, 3-1? Um, One famous one, obviously, but
I was waiting.
we
I was
don't, we
waiting
don't, we
for
don't
it.
want to talk about
No, we
that.
don't. No, we don't. That was a long time ago.
That was a decade ago, mate. That was a decade ago.
Wow.
We don't talk about it. You were still in your 20s a decade ago. Not anymore.
No, bro. Not reminding me.
Cool. So I guess that's the summary of last year. What do you reckon? Who are the teams to beat going into this year? Who are your contenders? Who do you think is going to make the most noise? I know you mentioned before to me that we might have differing opinions on the
Mm.
Eastern Conference, but I'll let you go first, and we'll see how similar or different they are.
Mm. Okay, well, I think the top two in the East is probably clear New York. Like, they more or less got the same teams coming back. New York added a few pieces. Clarkson,
Yeah,
Yabusele.
yeah,
So they got a bit more depth. That was their problem last year. They're basically running their guys into the ground.
hmm
Thibodeau's not there anymore, so they'll probably play a few more bench guys through the season.
yeah,
Um, then the middle is where it gets a bit, could be any order of these teams, but I like Orlando, Detroit,
yeah,
even Atlanta.
yeah,
They made some moves in the off season that make them a bit more interesting. And then you got Milwaukee still. They added Miles Turner, but I think they still need a guard for Giannis. He can't do
yeah,
everything, man. He can't bring the ball up and run the offense and rebound, and So as much as I love Giannis, the Bucks really, I want them to do well, but I
yeah.
don't I don't know how Miles Turner really moves them that much further forward.
I mean, it probably just gives Giannis a rest when he doesn't have to play five, but that's
Mm.
it. Like, I don't think
Yeah,
I mean,
so
again, though, Miles Turner is coming off a great playoff run, a great year. So, hey, and he's pretty good defensively. So
yeah, for sure.
he might give him some help. Um, well, that's interesting because I think we have the same. I'm more high, I think, on Orlando and
Mm.
Atlanta. I think Orlando, like Houston last year, they didn't have a scorer. They didn't have someone in the playoffs they could just give the ball to. And now that they got Desmond Bane, who's a certified bucket, um, he can score from anywhere. You also saw last year, when Jar went down, he was ball handling as well, and getting his 8 assists, 9 assists, 10 assists per game. So
Mm.
he adds another dimension to Orlando. They're always going to be gritty. They're always going to play defense. So now I think those two teams, Houston and Orlando, are like the mirrors in the West and the East.
Mm.
Very similar style, like gritty defense, low scoring games. Both teams were missing a scorer last year. One got Kevin Durant, one got Desmond Bain. But you know what I mean? Like
Hey man,
they,
if you can't get Kevin Durant, you might as well get Desmond Bain.
yeah, right. Well, they filled gaps that they definitely needed. Like they
Yeah,
filled their gaps. They're gonna improve. Paolo, I think, is a star, and that he can be
yeah.
best player on a championship team. So I'm really high on Orlando, and I'm really high on Atlanta because I love Trey.
Mhm.
Like that
Yeah,
guy, he's a killer. He
yeah.
he does not like losing. You see him all the
Mm.
time. Like I mean, he probably complains a lot against the refs. Well, to the refs, but you see him in games, and you're just like, far out. This guy at 6'1" just doesn't lose. Doesn't want to lose.
Mm.
Excellent team around him now. Jalen Johnson, he was flying last year before he got injured, so seeing him back will be good. Dyson Daniels probably going to take another step. So I'm really, really high on Atlanta for sure. But I think our top four is very similar. So who
Mm.
do you have? You had New York, Cleveland,
Uh, I had Cleveland first, New York, then Orlando, then Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would probably put Atlanta over Detroit at the
Mm.
moment. I think Detroit. very. I mean, all of these East teams are so similar, right? Where they just grind you out. Like they just play crazy defense, low scoring games, and then they give it to their stars and hope they can win them the game.
Mm.
Again, Cunningham, definitely a star, definitely can be the best player on the team, but does he have enough around him to win or to get top four seeding? I don't know. I guess
Mm.
the East being weak. So yeah, I guess that's the contenders that we are both looking forward to. Dark horses and surprising teams. I don't think there's many in the East.
Yeah, that would be the surprising team. Something like Atlanta or
Yeah,
Orlando doing something,
yeah,
just because they've been bad for so long. But
exactly.
they've
And then
actually,
they finally coming good.
yeah, they have
Um,
expectations this year. So
I think the other two teams that I guess are somewhat of an interest is Miami and Philly.
mm.
Philly, you still have big fella going around, big Embiid, got pandemic P running around.
Pandemic free.
Maxi, these are young star. Like the Philly team,
Yeah.
they aren't bad, but they just
Mm.
haven't done anything for years. So I think people have lost hope. And Miami, they're always good. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
they're always there. They're always in games. They're not going to make much noise even if they make the playoffs. They just don't have the star power. But they're going to be fighting for that top 10 seeding, maybe a play in both of those,
Mm.
I'd say. And what about Boston? So I don't know how many preseason
Yeah.
games you've watched of Boston, but they've been smashing teams. Like they have been absolutely smashing teams for fun. They
So Tatum was the problem there.
Yeah. Trade him now.
Get rid of Horford, get rid of Holiday, get rid of Tatum. We
They
don't
got
need
rid of
him.
Porzingis as well. Don't forget that.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean Porzingis
yeah,
barely played in those playoffs, but
yeah,
um, it's the same thing though. It's dribble into the paint, kick out three.
yeah,
But it's all they do. They pile on points. If their threes are going, you look
mm.
like I was watching a few games and it was like, 12 all. Flick back, it's like 35-19. And they've hit like four threes.
So save some for the regular season, though,
Yeah.
right?
Um, you know who's looked excellent? Derek White has looked excellent in all of those games. He's just your perfect like third guy, I reckon. Like if you
Mm,
want a third, it's probably not a star, but if you want, your two superstars or two stars and a third, he's the guy you want. You can put him at the two or the three, defends, shoots really well. And now with Tatum being injured, Holiday gone, he's dribbling the ball up, he's chucking those passes out. So
mm.
Boston again, Peyton Pritchard will get more time. I love that little man as well. He's fearless, shoots from anywhere. I think they'll be around, and I don't know the timeline for Tatum, but I mean,
Apparently, he's coming back next month or something.
yeah, looking at those
Everything,
videos, he
yeah,
started dunking
yeah,
already.
he's dunking and stuff. Oh, crazy.
The question though is, what happens? Say Boston are fourth seed, you bringing
Mm.
Tatum back or you're not? You gotta think about it,
It's
right?
Yeah, it's tough. It's
Especially
tough
with,
because it seems like he really wants to come back,
yeah, I
but
know.
you got to
Because he
be
did it.
very,
He did it at the start of the playoffs. So usually they say 1 year, right? So
yeah.
I think it's very hard to bring someone back into a
Mm.
playoff
To
series.
an
So
NBA playoff
yeah,
series.
exactly.
First, no tune up, just straight in there.
Great. And
Go
so
score
I
us
think that's
25.
off the cards for sure. But say with a month to go, they're sitting in top four. You
Mm.
you might think about bringing him back.
Well, I think based off the moves that they made, they're not really concerned about contending for a title.
That
Um,
yeah, definitely. But again, hey, it's hard to win NBA titles.
but with the East being the way it is, you never know,
Exactly.
Like,
Like it's an opportunity that falls into their lap. I think
yeah.
with Brown, Tatum, and Derek White as your three, you're a championship team.
Mm.
Like,
That's 60, 70 points right there
yeah,
between
if
three
not
players.
more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they're definitely interesting. Um, the way the West is stacked with just absolute talent, the East is like not stacked, but they're all so not mediocre, but all the same that it's still going to be quite even, if you know what I mean.
Mm,
It's not big names,
yeah,
it's just the teams are all the same.
yeah. It's like Cleveland and New York. They're kind of set.
Yeah,
I think like they're gonna be one or two. Who knows? But
and then 3 to 8 is just the lottery.
three all the way to 10 could
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
Yeah, like it's
yeah.
you're basically just pulling names out of the hat at that point.
Yeah, literally just dartboard, chucking the names up, hope for the best.
Yeah, yeah.
So out of the
But
Eastern Conference, what's well, out of the teams in the Eastern Conference, there was obviously a couple
mm,
of trades made in the East. What
yeah.
what one really stood out to you, do you think? That'll make a huge
Uh,
difference this year.
I like Lonzo Ball on Cleveland.
Yep,
I mean, he's a he can hit a shot, but he's a defender. He can guard
yep,
other players. They had a small backcourt with Garland. I think he's injured to
yep,
start the
Garland's
season.
issue.
So
Yep. Well, it's a
I
direct
mean,
replacement for Ty Jerome as well, who they lost.
yeah, he left to
Yeah,
somewhere.
he went
I
Memphis.
think Memphis. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I like Lonzo Ball. Just adding a bit more defense. That's always good to have another defender on your team. He can
yep,
hit a shot. Um, and obviously Desmond Bain.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Orlando, they were crying out for someone who could hit a freaking three for them.
Yeah.
Col- oh my god, I bet on so many Orlando games last year and in the playoffs, and Caldwell Pope just he couldn't hit
He was
anything.
horrible.
He couldn't. Oh, that guy cost me, man. So
Yeah, he was bad last year for them.
yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of cool trades that happened in the East though.
yeah,
So
I think the one
yeah,
is for me is that Porzingis trade to Atlanta. Like, if he's
yeah,
if he can put 50 games together, with Trey, like that's Trey and Porzingis. That's a pretty good duo to have. Um,
yeah.
they're supported by very good pieces. So, as you know, if Porzingis can stay healthy-ish and can help them to a high seed, I'd love to see what both of those boys can do. Well, Trey with Porzingis can do in a playoff series against
Mm,
anyone. Um, that was excellent. And like you said, with early on with the Knicks, they've shored up their bench.
mm.
Their starting five is elite. They're gonna be, like you said, top two seed. Cavs again, adding Lonzo. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the East shakes out. I think we're both in agreement that New York Cavs are top two, and
Yeah,
then it's just a free for all.
mm. Yeah. It's
Uh,
teams that haven't done it yet. You think
yeah, a lot of them.
you think are gonna improve, and
Yeah,
then teams that have been placeholders of those top positions, they're probably gonna drop this year. So
definitely. So out of the East, I guess, who are your key players to watch out for? I guess again, let's talk about a bit more about like the awards, in
mm.
terms of MVPs or guys that are really gonna take the next step that, in the East for you.
MVP, I mean maybe Brunson if the
Yeah,
Knicks finish first.
yeah,
It's hard to see a 6 foot point guard winning the MVP of the NBA, but
yeah. Unless you're Steph, you're not doing that.
yeah, unless you've got insane shooting ability,
Yeah,
which he's a scorer, but I wouldn't say he's not a shooter on that
no.
level. I don't think Giannis. I don't think their record will be good enough. He's gonna put
Wow,
up. He's
really?
gonna put up. He's gonna put up numbers, but I don't think that team's gonna do very well.
Yeah,
So I don't think he's in line for the MVP.
yep. Interesting. Very interesting.
Donovan Mitchell, maybe.
Yeah.
If the
Again,
Cavs,
though,
the
like
Cavs.
small guards, they got to do exceptional
Yeah, yeah.
stuff.
They're never gonna give it to a small guy.
Nah,
So
it's very hard. Um, I think for me, someone who has, again, I'll throw Trey out there as well, but small guard, probably not going to win anything.
Mm,
Um, Jalen, again, this is all dependent on Boston being good, but Jalen Brown can
mm,
throw his name out there to be MVP. He fills up all the stats. So I don't
yeah,
think that's an issue. I think it's more just, how much they're going to lean on. Like you said, they're probably not trying to win this year, but if Jalen Brown's going 25, 6 and 6, he plays defense, they're the
yeah,
number 3, 4 seed. You got to put him in there as a possible MVP, but again, it's not like the West where there's, 10 guys that could win it. The East is what, three? Three guys,
yeah.
maybe.
If that,
If that,
yeah,
yeah. Two and a
yeah.
half.
You might get most improved come out of the East, but
Yeah,
MVP, yeah, it's
I
because
mean,
there's gonna be a lot more opportunity because of the injuries for guys to get more minutes.
yeah,
Obviously, more minutes means more stats. So
definitely, definitely.
most improved, maybe.
Who else are you excited to, I guess, watch in the East? Go in the East this year.
Mm, yeah, I like Orlando.
Yeah.
Really. I like Paolo from the game.
I mean,
Oh, I didn't watch a lot.
yeah,
I didn't watch a lot of Orlando last year, but the playoff series they had against Boston, I think they did pretty well.
yeah, yeah.
They were up against it, going up against Boston, but they didn't lie down.
Considering they couldn't hit a three, they were.
Yeah, they could have hit a shot. They could have had a shot, man. But that guy's a beast, man.
Yeah, I mean, he
He's,
could.
he's
He's
a
probably an MVP candidate. Paolo.
yeah,
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 they get one or two.
definitely because I didn't think of that, but
Yeah, he's definitely up there. And then yeah, I mean, I don't really see anyone else in the East as a player that I'm, excited to see. I think it's just going to be New York Cavs doing their thing, and then everyone else doing their thing.
mm,
Um, I think the conference, like we've already spoken about, it's going to be very top heavy with the two teams, and then very even across the board. I guess somewhat similar to the West, but with slight, like,
mm,
I think OKC Denver, they're the top two there. Cavs New York, top two in the East, and then everyone else is just in that logjam of teams.
mm.
Do you want to rattle off your Eastern Conference, I guess, top 10 that you think will that'll be, I guess, to end the year?
Yeah, I'll go. So I went Cleveland 1, New York 2, then Orlando 3, Detroit 4. I went Atlanta 5, Milwaukee 6.
Yep.
Uh, I went Indiana 7.
Yeah, one team we haven't
Uh,
spoken about.
yeah, yeah, they lost Helly, but they still got a lot of NBA players on that team.
That's
So
true.
then I went Philly at 8.
Okay. So you
That
give him
that's
some
all
sort of
help. Yeah, if they get help, I mean, Paul George and Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, that's a big three.
that's a big three, yeah.
They just need to get on the court and play.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the year to do it. The East is going to be weak, so that
100%.
who knows? They could skyrocket up
100%.
that ladder. And then I got Boston and Chicago at 10.
Chicago at 10. Very nice.
Yeah.
I think with India, let's just go back to Indiana at 7. They obviously are a very well coached team. They do, I think they still will be competitive. Um,
Mm.
but maybe this is the year that they kind of let their young guys take control a little bit, put some, miles
Yeah.
into their legs, and hey, maybe they do finish top 8, but I think with Hallie gone and Turner out, you're left with what, Nemhard, Siakam, who's a superstar, Siakam, and
Mm.
then you're left with Nemhard, Siakam, and who's then Naismith as your starters, but then they've got Mathurin, TJ McConnell off the bench, so
Mm.
um,
Still topping on the bench.
yeah, topping on the
Maybe,
bench. Yeah.
maybe they just go full run and gun this year and just don't play with us. they,
Yeah,
they,
like
they,
what?
they run Siakam at the
Yeah,
five
come out the five and just
and they
let
just
let
try
him
and score
go.
150 points a game.
Literally, we're gonna score more than you. We don't care about defense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they didn't
Uh,
really care about defense last year either
well, in the
until
playoffs they did though. They were excellent in the
yeah, until everyone like they lock it down a bit in the
yeah.
playoffs. But
Yeah, you're right. During the regular season, they're one of the quickest teams, and they were piling
yeah,
up. What they score last year, like 160 points against someone. Remember that?
okay, yeah, I don't
Oh,
remember
that was
that, but
crazy.
I'm not surprised.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the East, I think you like you said, it's gonna be more interesting to watch in terms of storylines. Is there a little
Mm.
I guess how would you summarize the East leading into the season, starting next week?
What I summarize it? I would just say like interesting because a lot of the moves, there's a
Yep.
lot of trades that went on that side of the conference. It'd be
Yep.
interesting to see what trades worked well for what teams,
Yep.
and then whether or not it elevates them to another level or
Yep.
just kind of redundant, you know.
Nah, I think the East is gonna be
One more thing.
yeah.
I'm curious to see what's going on with Giannis.
Oh, do you reckon there's a mid-season
If it
trade?
goes bad, uh, does he try to get out? Maybe try to get to New York or something.
But the thing is, like, New York are going to be one or two. So would they even want to do that trade at that point? I mean,
And what you don't want a multiple time MVP on your team.
but what are you giving up? Like, you have to give up Cat, Bridges, and someone else, if not two other.
I think two of those guys is enough.
Yeah. So,
Well, what you who would you rather? Would you rather Cat or Giannis
oh, I'd
on
rather
your team?
Giannis. But it's about like fit as
Yeah.
well, right? Like, Cat works well because he can shoot threes there. Like he can space the
Mm,
floor with Cat, whereas with Giannis, he's in the paint all the time. Brunson
mm,
is the mid-range guy. He likes room in the paint, so
mm.
it's still about fit in the end.
Yeah.
So,
I
and I
mean,
think
yeah.
Bridges is excellent. Like Bridges defends the best player on the other team. So him and OG
Mm,
together is nightmare stuff. Like, can you imagine
yeah,
being
for sure.
guarded by two of those guys?
Yeah, it'd be crazier to see them break up definitely with the East being the way it is this
Yeah.
year. But
And they've got consistency now. They've got a bit of like, I think what you've seen over the last few years is the teams that have been champions, they've had
mm,
continuity through their team.
yeah,
Um, they've had a few years to kind of build chemistry, build, like know exactly where you're going to be at what point, and then they've
yeah,
been able to take it to the highest level and win championships. So I
mm,
think New York are probably the only team like that in the East, and Cleveland, who have had that continuity,
mm,
and who are primed to. That should be the Eastern Conference Final, but
yeah,
things
should.
happen, right? So
Yeah, well, like last season.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Hey,
awesome.
man, I'll just put it out there
Hey.
because I mean, if there's a chance to get an MVP on you, I mean,
Yeah, I guess you're not saying no. And oh man, Giannis would love New York. Like he'd
well,
froth
that's what
that.
you keep hearing that stuff.
Mm,
You seeing he likes more, he likes the big markets
the big
in
market,
Miami.
New York. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, hey,
Mm.
we'll throw it out there. Could happen. You might be, 3 months down the track, be like, I told you so.
I'd love nothing more than to be right. I mean,
But
yeah,
awesome.
just
So thanks everyone for tuning in and listening. We'll have this episode out on YouTube, Spotify, over the next couple of days, and then we'll have myself and Darby's top 10 from each conference on the Instagram page. So, a couple of things to look out for. Darby, again, thanks for joining. We shall do this
all good,
again
brother.
next week once the season starts.